The all-American half pounder, 2 pure beef patties, lettuce, tomato.
Singles going steady.
This is Singles Going Steady, the podcast dedicated to exploring great singles with a particular eye to the punk, new wave, and DIY eras of the last century. My name is Steve McGowan.
And my name is Adrienne and Meddock, and we're in a band, The Beef People, who released a single in 1986 on our own label, Zub Records. But we're record collectors and passionate especially about the expression of pop music perfection that is the single recording. Exploring the mystery of what makes for a great single is what propelled us to begin this podcast. And this is episode 085. Wow. You know.
And it's going to be a single from 1986.
It is a real single.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 86 from 85 gives us 86.
Mm-hmm.
And the single is Tom Jones with The Art of Noise. And
it's a cover.
It's a cover, and it's at the time what was a very recent cover,
yes.
1984 recording by Prince of his own composition. And
86. Prince recorded it in 86, and I think Tom Jones recorded it in 88.
Okay, I've got all these 80 numbers are all confused. 86 and 88.
Well, it's not worth arguing about.
And this is episode 85.
It's in the 80s.
It's in the 80s. It's all a big, there was a Wall Street crash and all sorts of things going on.
Yeah.
And so 86 recording by Prince was covered very quickly in 88, Art of Noise and Tom Jones. There we got it. We got our 8s all straight.
So the song is called Kiss. It's by Prince, who we have not talked about on our podcast yet.
Prince is sort of, a real force of nature.
Yeah, he is his own podcast.
Right.
He's his own series of podcasts.
And the Prince acolytes, will have much fault, I'm sure, with whatever we say, because there's the Encyclopedia of Prince. They're still adding volumes.
It is very thick and very dense, and the man was obviously a genius.
Right. You open it and doves fly out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So the song Kiss was from his album Parade in 1986. Even though the record company didn't want it to be a single, it became a #1 smash worldwide, of course, because he's Prince.
And I don't know if it was the falsetto or the sparse arrangements or whatever.
The video with the half-naked women in the veils.
That I would have thought would have gone for it. But this was Prince. Everything he touched, particularly at that time, just golden.
So why don't we listen to it?
Okay, yeah. So here's a little bit of Prince, right?
We'll build the foundation for our Tom Jones Art of Noise by letting you hear the real, original Prince and Kiss.
Jones.
All right, there's Prince. I just, the way he sings is just, it's intergalactic.
Yeah, yeah.
He is like an alien,
right? He's
from the planet of good music.
So talented,
Yes.
so just beyond off the charts. Just it's hard to even comprehend.
Right.
The Prince's abilities.
I know it's just a great song. I mean,
It just flows from him. It just seems to flow from him.
You can see why this was a number one. You can hear why it was.
Yeah, so let's talk about Tom Jones a little bit,
Okay.
right? Because we've got Prince, who's this unparalleled musical genius.
Minnesotan.
Yeah, and just with the songwriting abilities, playing abilities, singing abilities.
Right.
And then, on the other hand, we got Tom Jones. And
Right.
Tom Jones is a different creature.
Yes. Tom Jones, famously from Wales, a Welshman.
He's probably the famous person from Wales.
Probably is,
Yeah.
yes. At least since Prince Meddock.
Right.
And I don't want to hear that story
We'll refer
again.
you to our prior episode where we were
right.
talking about Prince Meddock.
Tom Jones was a huge deal in my household. My parents and myself being Scottish, they had a ton of Tom Jones records. He was huge in the UK.
He's a vocalist. He's
Yes,
not a songwriter.
a singer.
He is a true singer, a crooner.
Yeah, could be, or a belter sometimes.
Right, but it came up in sort of the same time as like Anthony Newley,
Yeah.
and some of these.
A little later, but
Right,
yeah.
but of songs,
Songsmiths.
song interpreters, right?
Right.
So he was known for the strength of his voice and as the sex symbol.
Oh, yes.
Right, so at a time when you had Beatles and Rolling Stones
Right.
and all sorts of people writing and playing their own music, you had Tom Jones as
Yes.
the interpreter of the songs of others, really kind of a throwback to crooners like Sinatra,
Yeah.
right? But although it was hipper
Right,
and
right.
and
I think that's a good analogy. I remember, It's Not Unusual was just
Right.
a huge song in our household, and Delilah. And even the one he did where the green grass of home, oh my God, that's like, that gets sung in the pub in Scotland and everybody's crying, I mean, it's just one of those songs, He was big. And I don't know if you remember, but he did have a TV show for quite a while in America.
like a syndicated
the
show.
Tom Jones show,
That
yes.
variety shows were a thing,
And
like in the late 60s,
and
early 70s.
he would sing with like
and-
Smokey Robinson and whoever would come on. He had a lot of really cool guests.
Yeah, I had misplaced that.
Yeah.
I'm sure my hippie parents were not watching the Tom Jones
right.
show.
Yeah, because it was more, it wasn't like the Johnny Cash show, but it was a little bit more entertainment, but still he had a lot of cool, music on there.
But he was known as a sex symbol, and people
Yes.
threw their underwear,
The panty throwers.
They're throwing panties at Tom Jones, and
Yes.
so he naturally morphed when the hit stopped into a Vegas act.
Right.
And so Vegas in the 70s wasn't quite the thing that it is now.
Yeah, it was different.
It was a place where a lot of it was a different phase of somene's career, right? So,
right.
like, after you're in the public eye,
Usually your twilight
constantly.
of your career.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So it maybe Branson would be
Yeah.
a good, that going. It wasn't quite going out to pasture because there, it was the business show still, and there was money to be had.
Right.
But it was a middle-aged gambling mecca, right? So Vegas wasn't quite the attraction that it is now.
Right.
A different type of attraction.
Yep.
And so Tom Jones had a residency there and was performing the hits of the day as well as his own songs, including Kiss.
Yes.
And that's where the Art of Noise comes in, right? Because they had heard that Tom Jones was performing this. So
Right.
they put together the idea of what they did and what Tom Jones did, and that's where we get the single that we're talking about today,
Right.
which is Art of Noise, Tom Jones, Kiss.
And the Art of Noise were sort of a not
Almost like a collective.
Yeah. They weren't all real musicians, really. There was Trevor Horn, the producer, a couple other engineers, Paul Morley, the famous journalist, music journalist.
So these were people that were using the technical
Fairlight,
advances,
the Fairlight computer,
so doing sampling, doing collages, doing compilation of existing materials, taping them, really almost like an art collective, but creating popular music.
Yeah, they were one of the first to really go with the sampling Fairlight thing and turn that into music art / whatever collage, sonic collage. And they jump-started Tom Jones's career
and making really great dance records.
Yes.
So this is sort of the Frankenstein genius that they have here. Is take a little bit of a current popular hit or a recent hit, Kiss. Take someone who's got just a well-known and expressive voice, Tom Jones, and put it together with the machinery that is Art of Noise.
The perfect melding of the kind of the old and the new. So let's listen to it. Tom Jones and the Art of Noise on Polydor Records from 1988. Their version of Kiss. He cleans the floor with this one, I think. Let's check it out.
You don't have to be beautiful to turn me on. I just need your body, baby, from dusk till dawn. You don't need experience to turn me out. You just leave it all up to me. I'll show you what it's all about. You don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be cool to rule my world. Ain't no particular sign I'm more compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss. You gotta not talk dirty, baby, if you wanna impress me. You can't be too flirty, mama. I know how to undress me. Let me be your fantasy, and maybe you could be mine. You just leave it all up to me. We can have a good time. You don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be cool to rule my world. Ain't no particular sign I'm more compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss. Think I better dance now. Women and girls rule my world. I say they rule my world. At your age, mama, not your shoe size. Maybe we could do the twirl. You don't have to watch Dynasty to have an attitude. You gotta leave it all up to me. My love will be your food.
So there we go. Tom Jones, Art of Noise. He certainly sounds confident. He doesn't sound like Prince. He does his own thing with it. He's got that baritone that just,
it's a very pelvic form of sexiness that we get here from Tom Jones.
Yes.
Versus the falsetto that we had.
Very masculine version.
Yeah, this is a butched up version.
Right. Dead butch.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully you'll have a chance to find out where you threw your panties while you were listening to that. But yeah, Kiss by Tom Jones. It's
pretty cool.
It's kind of a juggernaut, right? I mean, it chugs along, and
it's got this real interesting mix to it too. If you listen to it in the stereo with the speakers close, the fast beat is on one side of the speakers, and then the slow beat is on the other. It's very carefully put together.
Right. This is crafted. This is really using all the tools that they have at their disposal of the studio magic that existed in the
absolutely
late 80s, mid to late 80s. Yeah, I mean, it's a great single because it's propulsive. It's sort of standalone.
It's still a great song, no matter who's singing it.
Exactly. I mean, it shows the great structure that's there in the Prince composition, and it's just it's fun. It's elevating. It's it's a dance record.
Yeah, and it's good to hear. It's good that Tom Jones got kind of a career renaissance, because he deserved it. He was always out there, slogging away. He's always been a singer. That's all he's ever really done. And before I talk a little bit more about Tom Jones, can we hear anybody else covering this?
Oh, man.
This is a hard one.
Yeah, this is. No, I'll think about that. Why don't you talk about Tom Jones, and we'll think about
Okay.
I'll be brewing up someone to cover it.
Well, Tom Jones is a member of the British Empire. He got an OBE, and he was knighted. He is actually Sir Tom Jones now, which is, if you are a British citizen, that is a big deal to be knighted by the Queen, and for his contributions to British music, which means he brought in a whole lot of money.
Right.
He has a great memoir. It's called Over the Top and Back, that I have read, and I enjoyed it tremendously. It's not too seamy. He doesn't get into all that stuff. I mean, he's been married forever. I think we won't even get into the rock and roll stuff on that end, but coming up from basically coal mining Wales is where he's from. And it's fun to get all the early stuff, because it's all these Welsh towns and everything, and you can't pronounce anything.
Right, it's a string of
there's
consonants.
no vowels in anything.
Yeah.
And coming up and playing in beat groups, being a singer in a number of beat groups.
And I promised we were going to talk about beat groups. Can you? So this isn't really a beat group, but let's talk. What's a beat group?
A beat group is something that really came about via the Beatles. Using that what they called the Ringo, the big beat. The drums coming in to really bashing away. Before it was the pop with the, they might have the strings, and they might have a little bit of, hi-hat or a little snare, but no, this is the bashing of the drums, the beginning of the beat era, the yeah.
Okay.
And he was in bands like that in Wales. He met Mickey Most, the famous producer. He was involved with a lot of people in London in recording. He was kind of a hanger-on for a long time. Finally, they got him the song. They got him It's Not Unusual. and
which is just a tremendous song, right?
And a weird song.
It's a weird song, and it's a weird... it's hard to carry it off. And it's got a great range.
Yeah.
And he just nails it.
Yeah. It's just, and a big career for a long time, playing Vegas in the heyday, friends with Elvis Presley, hanging out with Elvis every night, all the starlets, the whole thing. But the book opens, it's like in the 1980s, and he's playing like someplace in Framingham, Massachusetts, just like some supper club, 2 shows a night, and his star has definitely waned, and kind of goes back before and then goes up to where things start to happen for him again, and this is a big part of it, the Kiss the outer noise thing, and him embracing that and going on to being, somebody who sells a lot of records again, and is still selling a lot of records. So
can you hear anybody covering this?
This is funny because I think I've heard him do this song, but I can't remember.
Okay.
But so whether he's done it or not, I'm going to suggest it. I'm pretty sure I heard Graham Parker play this song once.
Oh, wow. That would be great.
Just him and his guitar.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that really happened or I just dreamt it. Maybe I was, I don't know. But he did a very wry, very good version of it.
Right. I would think if rye would,
yes.
It would be definitely toasted on rye.
Yes, nothing like either of these versions. But, again, a good song is a good song. And...
well, I'm going for the pomposity, the bash it out, the big vocals. Florence and the Machine.
Yeah, well,
so the big
diva
version,
it up. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, she could definitely diva it up. So that would be good. Tom Jones, as punk as it gets, huh?
Right. But it's a great single because
Yes,
it's a
it is a
total
great
dance
single.
record because it's got a good story of reviving Tom Jones, somebody who
And it's a Prince
deserves
song.
good things. And
Yeah.
it's a great single twice.
Yes, I mean,
And maybe a third time.
Right.
Well,
yeah, I mean, you can't beat Prince. Let's face it. He's already won everything. So.
right.
So that's our show for today.
Well, do you have any recommendations?
Oh, I forgot about recommendations, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, well, I did.
Better count now.
I definitely recommend the book by Tom Jones, Over the Top and Back. It's a great memoir. It's an easy read. You can learn a lot of cool things. A lot of things about whales that you probably didn't know. And he talks a lot about making the TV show, and it's very interesting kind of behind-the-scenes look about how a lot of that stuff went on. It's good. It's well done. He seems like a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah.
You can kind of read between anybody's lines when you're reading these things about A, did they write it? B, are they a jerk? He just seems like he understands that he's been lucky and he's happy to be there.
Right.
And, he knows he has talent, but he's thankful. And that's refreshing to read.
And my recommendation is going to actually echo back to a recent one, which is where I snagged this Tom Jones book.
Yes, of course.
At a dollar store.
Right.
Because it's the sort of overrun that ends up in a place like the dollar store.
Right.
But it was a great copy of the book, and it was a
brand
good book.
new.
And I've come across a few things like that where you really felt like you were stealing for getting
Right.
$1.
Yeah, I know.
For
and
$1.
And it was so much more worth more than $1. Believe me, it was a great read.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of things about music around that period. He did recordings that Jimmy Page played on, and all that kind of stuff. Everybody knew everybody back then. So check out those.
Yeah, you got to keep your eye out because they come and they go quickly, right? Because you can buy out all the Tom Jones books for $10, right?
Yeah, exactly. Give them to your friends. Okay, so now, are we done?
I think we are.
Okay, well, it's been fun talking about Tom Jones and the Outer Noise and Prince. Singles Going Steady 085. Thanks for talking with us.
I'll be glad when we're out of the 80s so I won't get my dates and my episode numbers all balled up together.
We're all confused, but we have lots of other cool things coming up. We'll talk to you very soon.
Hey, remember the 80s?
To learn more about the artists and recordings we just talked about, visit our website at zubrecords.com and click on the Singles Going Steady icon.
You'll also find links to the persons, places, and things we recommend, and much more.
You can find episodes of Singles Going Steady on our website or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Singles Going Steady is brought to you by the power and majesty of Zub Records. Zub Records. Smart sounds for sharp people.